Oh, I feel like I've been waiting 7 years to make this video, guys. I feel like I've been waiting since 2018 to make this video because, oh my word, Umar Nurmagomedov just got absolutely manhandled, demasculated. He got his balls snipped. Like snip, snap, snip, snap. Merab Dvalishvili gave this man a vasectomy in the octagon. And of course, you know, before I talk about the actual fight, because I have thoughts on the actual fight, but I just want to get into this immediately, this whole thing where these Dagestani people and the Dagestan fan base, the most toxic fan base in all of sports, by the way. Half of these guys aren't even from Dagestan. And the other half are just looking for, you know, likes and engagement and clout. They really don't actually care about these fighters. And then there's a section of them that just hate Conor McGregor, so that's it. These Dagestan fans, man, oh my god, they are the biggest losers of the night. Like, Umar lost in the cage, but these people lost morally. I mean, it's incredible how hypocritical they've exposed themselves to be, because they're all about humility and humbleness. And in the lead up to this fight, Umar Nurmagomedov was doing all the trash talk, all the talking, saying he disrespects Merab because he can. Okay, what happened to being humble? I thought, you know, remember all those tweets Khabib made and Islam made about, you know, being humble is the key and how good always defeats evil? So Umar was evil? I mean, hey, it's their words, you know. These guys, they think they're so morally superior to everyone. All these little Dagestan pricks. Khabib thinks he has a moral high ground. You know, the guy who insults homeless people and jumps people in packs and then hides in a bus when it's his time to, you know, scrap. Islam thinks he's all morally superior to everybody else. He talks trash, too. The way they treated Oliveira in the lead up to that fight. Yes, these are just so humble guys. Humble greats. These are the same guys who victim blamed Conor when they're the ones that made COVID jokes while Khabib's father was dying of COVID. And all Conor said was, well, is COVID good and father evil? That's all he said. It was a question. But they were on Instagram making jokes about COVID, saying, oh, you know, Conor, he couldn't breathe in a fight with Khabib, so it's like when he has COVID, some stupid thing like that. These guys are the biggest hypocrites. I could talk all day about the hypocritical things these guys do, but how the UFC, you know, these diehard MMA fans, these Dagestan meat riders ignore it and just brush it to the side because, you know, it's a cult. It's been drilled into their head that these guys they're humble and they're, you know, they're morally above everybody else and they can do no wrong. I mean, the idol worship of these people is insane, which is funny because they're Muslim fighters, and you as a Muslim, I mean, most of your fan base is not even Muslim, but okay, should not be doing any kind of idol worship to anybody or putting anyone above anybody. It's like Merab said. And it's funny how the Christian guy is the one who has the common sense here, because he's the one that said we're all on the same level. He said nobody is better than anybody. At the end of the day, we're all children under God. And I agree with that. That's the most humble. That's more humble than what anyone in that camp has ever said. All the Nurmagomedovs. Khabib's fake. Khabib's fake. He carries hate in his heart for Conor. You're supposed to be the religion of peace. You carry hate in your heart when even your father doesn't even hate Conor, which is crazy. Islam, that guy's becoming a bit of an egomaniac too, talking about he's going to do this and that in these divisions, but he's not. He hasn't moved up yet. And he's not going to move up to middleweight. I mean, all these guys do is talk. They talk more trash than anybody, but they constantly get away with it because it's been engraved by all of this narrative has been pushed because these fans can't think for themselves. They need a narrative to be pushed to where, you know, oh, you know, the Nurmagomedovs and the Dagestan fighters are so humble and great, and, you know, well, look how they reacted to this. They absolutely melted down. You had Khabib melting down in the corner like a child, throwing a tantrum, slamming his hands, all this stuff, giving the worst corner advice I'd ever seen. This is the GOAT coach, by the way. People called him the GOAT coach. This is the GOAT coach, by the way. Has no game plan in the biggest fight of his fighter's life. Now, I thought Leon Edwards' coaches were bad in that Bilal fight. But it was hilarious. I mean, to see Khabib throwing a tantrum. I mean, the guy is a man-child, let's be honest. He's a man-child, he is. He's a man-child. And then, immediately after the fight, you have Umar making excuses. Oh, my hands. Oh, my hand was broke. Oh, I thought I won the fight. Blah, blah. Okay, but what happened to being humble? I mean, you can think you won the fight, but you shouldn't say it. It's all about humility, right? It's all about being humble. It's all about being humble. Father's plan. Except when father's plan doesn't work. Oh. Then it's time to throw a tantrum and do a whole victim tour. And this victim tour by the Dagestan fans. For months, they were calling Merab a duck, saying he was shivering in his pants. He's shivering in his boots at the thought of fighting Umar Nurmagomedov. Even though Merab was trying to tell you guys, this guy beat nobody. Merab was trying to warn you guys. He's not ready for this level. He was trying to warn you guys. And I only gave Umar the second round. Barely that. He didn't clear-cut win a single round in this fight. So I don't know where people are screaming robbery. Then again, you have to know that those people are from a certain section of the world that has a high percentage of, let's just say, keeping it in the family. But either way, so their mental capacities might not be all there. But either way, Umar did not clearly win a single round in this fight. He didn't. And the last 3 rounds were all Merab. Merab was just coming at him the whole fight. The whole fight, coming at him. And this is what happens when these Dagestan people, everyone said they're unstoppable and no one's ever going to beat them. Because they fight a bunch of strikers and featherweights and undersized people. Of course. When you have someone who can actually mix the martial arts like Merab, who can actually wrestle, who can wrestle and throw volume and keep pressure, keep cardio, has so many tools to defeat you, then they're not so unstoppable. Look how quickly Umar broke in the 3rd round. Look how quickly he broke. He shattered. He was exhausted going into those final rounds. Exhausted. No dog in him. No fight in him. And that would have been Khabib's fate if he went to welterweight, because there's no featherweight strikers at welterweight. That would be Islam's fate if he really thinks he's going to move up to 185. These guys are all cowards. It's all fake. It is. It's all an illusion. Look how quickly it was shattered. The one time they don't get favorable matchmaking, the one time they have to fight somebody that can actually mix the martial arts, they break. They have no idea what to do. I can't crotch sniff. What I do, brother? I can't crotch sniff, brother. And then this stuff about the broken hand. Okay, let's say, he had a broken hand, so, so a broken hand gives you bad cardio? So when you break your hand, your lungs just collapse? And even then, the broken hand thing, okay. So why is it every time when a Dagestan fighter has a bad performance, or in this case loses, the excuse is, Islam, he was hurt and he had things going on during. That's why it took him 4 rounds to beat Dustin Poirier, and that's why he did bad in the first Volk fight, Umar, his hand was broke. Okay, so then Khabib's win against Conor is illegitimate because Conor's foot was broken, and he was on who knows what amount of drugs. So his win against Conor was illegitimate. So you guys admit that then. I mean, I've been saying that for years, but you guys admit that then. Right? Because why do injuries only matter when it's a fighter you like? When it's a fighter you don't like, the injuries don't. Merab was injured going into this fight too. Most fighters are injured going into any fight. Let's be honest. It's incredible how only when it's a fighter you like does the injury suddenly matter now. Or maybe your boy got smashed, right? And you guys can't handle it. You can't mentally take it because you're so used to winning. That's real humbleness. It's how you react when you lose. I mean, you could be on top. You could be on top and brag and, say, there's no good fighters in this country and that country, as you're supposed to be humble. As a humble man, why is Khabib saying that there's no talent in MMA in these countries and in Ireland? Why are the Dagestan saying that? You guys are supposed to be humble. You should be uplifting all fighters from all regions. What, because Conor threw a dolly at a bus 7 years ago? You're still upset about it, so all fighters in Ireland gotta face the wrath of you? These guys are fake. Stop this. These guys are fake. They're the fake. It's so good to see them exposed because they're so fake. They are fake. They're fake. I mean, my goodness, look how they collapse the second they lose. They can't handle it. Real humility is how you act when you lose, and that's why it's important to lose. This is why I never glorify undefeated records. Because if you're undefeated, what have you learned, really? What have you learned in MMA? I don't understand why in any sport losing is common, but in MMA, if you don't lose, you're perfect. And why? Like, you have to lose. You have to lose in life. You have to lose in your profession. Whether it's losing a job, whether, it's losing a game in another sport like, football or basketball. Why in MMA is losing a weakness? Why is that the only sport where losing is bad? And these guys, this is the issue with not losing, because you can't handle it. You're so used to being at the top, and it's so easy to talk trash when you're at the top. Anybody can do that. But it takes a real man to recollect himself, get his bearings, and say, you know what? I lost the fight. Good man. You're a good man. But these guys aren't humble, so that's not what they're going to do, because they're not really humble. You've got DC glazing people on the microphone during the matches telling you they're humble. You've got the commentators glazing Khabib in the middle of the fight. Like, talk about the fighters. If you're going to talk about Khabib as a coach, and talk about the other coaches on Merab's side. Glaze them a little bit. As for the fight itself, Umar didn't do anything. I don't know why people are saying this is robbery. Besides the fact they're butthurt and they're mad that Merab once again proved them wrong, because they said this in the O'Malley fight. O'Malley was going to knock him out. They say this about every Merab fight, and then he just proves them wrong. And then they complain about how he gets it done. But you said he was going to lose, so now you're complaining about how he got it done. Then stop it. Simply stop it. It's okay when your boys crotch sniff. It's okay when your boys only shoot for takedowns. Oh, but he doesn't finish the fight, so? You don't have to finish a fight to win a fight in MMA. There's nothing wrong with that. He's still playing it within the bounds of the rules. There's no rule that says you have to finish a fight. That's your own personal grievance. If your boys are allowed to crotch sniff, it should be fair game for everybody else too. Doesn't make sense. Round 1, I scored for Merab. Round 2, I barely gave to Umar. Barely. I mean, he got the back of Merab, but he really didn't do any damage. But he did land the better shots in round 2. That's pretty much it. Round 3, Merab. Round 4, Merab. Round 5, Merab. It was a clear-cut Merab. I don't know why people on Twitter were giving so many rounds to Umar. It's ridiculous. It's like, just say you have a bias. You have an inherent bias. You're not thinking. You've been dragged into this Dagestani cult where these guys can do no wrong. It's stupid. And Merab took a lot of trash from a lot of people going into this fight, and he proved them wrong again. And you notice how he could have torn down Umar Nurmagomedov. He could have, just like Khabib does and Islam does and all those other Dagestan fighters do when they win fights, because they're not humble. But he could have did that, and he chose not to. He chose not to. He chose to be the better man. And that's great for him, because he's a better man in the cage, and he's just a better person in general. He's a better person in general than all these clowns, all these losers. That's what they are. They're losers. They're bullies. And for some reason in life, bullies are always seen as paragons. Bullies are always seen as these good people. It's brainwash. It's brainwash. And Merab was doing so good. I mean, all this stuff about, Umar did more damage. Where? A few cuts? Okay. What else did he do? Like, there was no shot that made you go, oh my God, Umar's got him. Besides at the end of the first round. That was it. And even that shot, Merab was fine. Umar literally stuttered when Merab hit him in that 5th round. He stuttered. And then he threw one of the goofiest looking kicks I've ever seen in my life. Your boy lost. It's over. Dagestan's been exposed. Whenever they face people that could actually wrestle and actually, do mixed martial arts, they don't know what to do. They don't know what to do. And Topuria is going to do the same thing to Islam. But either way, congratulations to Merab. It's so good to see Merab just continue to prove these losers wrong. It's so good to see. I love it. I mean, it's a common thing in MMA now to just hate whoever is the current champion. And it's good. I like when the champions win now, because it's just funny. It is. It's just funny. I hope DDP does the same thing, because it's cool to hate him now too. But yeah, man, Screw Dagestan, screw Khabib, screw all those losers. They suck.